A couple of things I didn't mention during the naval rules introduction is I didn't mention that it costs 1 movement point to move into a sea zone, okay, 2 to move into a coastal zone, 1 to move into a port hex. I also didn't mention these circle things tell you which zones are connected to the current run. Right, just a sec. Okay, so the circles actually tell you movement points to enter this sea zone. Well, they're all one on of the 4 that are on the main map. They're all one. But if you go over onto the global map, you can see that movement points to enter these zones gets more and more expensive. There's a lot of 2s on here. Again, you can see these white lines, solid white lines, tell you how to move strategically between the various naval, not when I say naval zones, sea zones. Other things that are worth mentioning, there's an IM rating on a lot of these zones which are off map, and that's interception rating, so that means it's harder. So you sort of take 1 off your die roll when you're trying to do an interception, so it's just saying that these are such huge areas that it's much harder to intercept an active player's moving force. The other thing is MT, which is your transport maritime traffic rating. That's used for commerce raiding, so the areas where there's more stuff to attack have the higher maritime trade ratings. I'm not going to go into any great detail on commerce raiding, mainly because it's all new and I'll have a look at that a bit later. There's an optional rule for naval hidden movement, which I'm not going to discuss either, because I'm playing a solo game, so it's a bit pointless. But it means you can use fleet counters, which your opponent can't examine, so he doesn't actually really know what a fleet consists of unless he actually engages it in combat. Also, one thing worth mentioning, if you're embarking troops onto ships, they've got to be with a leader when they embark. But oddly enough, they don't have to be with a leader when they disembark. Also, disembarking units cannot move during the movement phase of the turn where they were disembarked, but they are considered to be in supply for the turn when they are embarked. Any subsequent turns, they have to draw supply from a friendly supply force or from supply points dropped by an English fleet for English units. Nobody else can supply their own forces via the sea. Only the English can do that. Another thing the English can do is they transport production points. They can go directly to the production pool of the nation receiving them. So if I think I'm only allowed to give you 5 a turn. And if I say they went to Prussia, Prussia could use those 5 points in addition to their normal allotment of production points to buy units. And because they're standard production points, you can buy any type of unit with it, assuming you are eligible to build that type of unit. Another clarification, if a losing force from a naval battle is not pursued or loses 2 consecutive rounds of combat, it may immediately retreat to the nearest friendly unblockaded port in the same sea zone. Transports may not participate in naval combat. If an unescorted transport is attacked, the player who controls the transport rolls the die and locates the result on the naval transport table. C equals transport and cargo captured, S is transport sunk, E is transport escapes to the nearest unblockaded friendly port in the same sea zone, or an adjacent sea zone if one is available. Okay, that's it for naval. As you can see, the naval side is quite complicated, but it's a whole new area of the actual game. If I tried to do a single video on ground movement and combat, it would take forever as well. So don't be disheartened by the fact that the 2 videos I've done are over 20 minutes in length.